to address Dr. Pathak, the founder of the movement on sanitation, honored guests, the conference delegates, our future leaders, the learners who are with us today, the media, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to first thank Sulabh, and in particular Dr. Pathak, for having provided us, more especially South Africans, an opportunity to be part of this conference. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I also want to add my word of appreciation to those who have expressed their gratitude, more especially to the learners who have been part of this conference for the last 3 days. Indeed, the presentations that were made this morning are of high standard. And let's give them a round of applause. When I think about us in our age, when we're young, I can say about 40 years ago, our main concern, and more especially as South Africans, was not about the issues of presentations and so forth. It was about us fighting to be understood and be included in the mainstream of education in our country. We could not at those times be able even to make these presentations that are PowerPointed these days. And what we're doing, we're just throwing our stones to the apartheid system to ensure that we are freed from the bondage. Indeed, I also wanted to thank Dr. Pathak for this work that he is doing with and for the people who are coming from the underprivileged society. When he was speaking to us yesterday about the program that he developed to take the so-called untouchables from what they were experiencing at that time to where they are today, I must say it's a very good work that he has done, and we must appreciate that. You know, there's nothing that dehumanizes a person more than taking that person's dignity away. Restoring it is fundamental. And once you have restored it, the person will be able to unleash his very potential in developing society. And look at the work that they are doing, from rags to riches. I must also say, Dr. Pathak, we in South Africa might be 3 hours behind in terms of time zoning from the South Asian countries. But we are making strides to be at the same time with yourselves in terms of skills and development. It is important once more to say sanitation is dignity. If you undermine sanitation, you are taking the dignity away from our people. So therefore, it's important to understand it from that level. Let me just, if you look at the slide, South Africa is in the southern tip of Africa. And by being there, it is not a nation that must be undermined. It's a nation that has got its own sovereignty, and it's a nation that wants to learn and make a contribution to the nations of the world. If you look at I'm not going to bore you in terms of our preamble, but I want to say it is our commitment as the people of South Africa to ensure that we heal the divisions of the past. We also lay the foundations of democracy amongst our society. We also improve the quality of our people. We also ensure that a South Africa that is united and democratic must play its rightful role in the state of families of nations. As a nation, we are guided by our National Democratic Development Plan, which puts education as the epicenter of that plan. And therefore, it becomes important to understand that whatever we do as a nation in this vision, we are game changing, moving away from the past to a stage of development and prosperity. Yes, for us to ensure that we unleash that potential of education, there are a number of barriers to equitable education. If you look at my presentation, I'm just going to be talking to those that are in red. One, we have got challenges in our schools around issues of the menstrual challenges, and which means therefore that the girl learners would always miss classes, and in certain instances they are dropping out of school, and therefore that contributes to the number of learners or young people in the sub-Sahara Africa, where about 59.3 million children are out of school. And therefore we are saying we want to reduce that number very significantly by addressing some of those issues that are challenging to us. Issues of lack of sanitation, issues of the general littering and general dirtiness, issues of hygiene, health matters, and also psychosocial issues. As Gauteng provincial government and the national government, we are saying that the social development department must be in partnership with all of us to ensure that we provide dignity packs both for boys and girl learners. Maybe people might be asking, what are we saying? It is also important to understand that it's not only girls who are coming from the disadvantaged communities. You have boy learners who do not even have a toothpaste, a brush, a piece of soap, and those learners must be cared for. But in that pack, we also ensure that all issues related to girl learners must be part of that pack. We are also saying, therefore, that the private sector must also adopt certain schools to ensure that we alleviate the challenges that the government has. Government does not have funds in abundance. We have got limited funds because we also have got a lot of priorities. We are also saying, therefore, that schools must be provided with special bins so that we can be able to deposit all those pads, so that they must not be thrown in toilets. Because remember, if you throw them in toilets, you are blocking the toilets, and therefore we have got toilets that are unbearable. So therefore it becomes important that everything must be provided in order to ensure that we have got the appropriate resources and issues to be able to provide the necessary services that the government must do. We are also saying it's important that we must create partnerships in ensuring that we renovate and repair our toilets. The partnership that we have with Sulabh is a fantastic one. And we are saying other people in the private sector must also come in. This message was echoed on the 1st of March this year when we had a round-table conference where Dr. Pathak was also a participant. He addressed us, and we also said in that conference, let everybody be part of the movement. The issue of sanitation, cleanliness, hygiene must not be limited to certain people, but it must be a global issue that must be taken by anyone and everyone in a particular country. And therefore, we are also congratulating Sulabh for having initiated the movement in our schools, which we call Club I'm Possible. And this club is not just about cleanliness in the schools. It's also about providing skills for young people, developing them to be future leaders. Because if we are limiting their role to only the social issues, we are not building a nation. The nation is built through programs that are starting at an early level. We are also saying as a country, we must expand once more the program beyond the school level. We have started with the MEC of Education in Gauteng to say this must be an education national program. It must be expanded to all the 9 provinces in Gauteng, in all our schools. Yes, we might be talking about 75 schools that have been targeted, but all the schools in our country must have a program like the one Sulabh has initiated in our schools. And we are saying, therefore, at the end of the day, to ensure that all schools and the country is part of a cleanliness and sanitation program, other departments, such as the environmental departments in all the provinces, must be involved, because the issue of sanitation is not limited to education. It's a broad issue. I want just to close by quoting our founding president in the democratic South Africa. He said, never and never again that it shall be that this beautiful country will again experience the oppression of one by another and suffer the indignity of being the skunk of the world. He also says, during his inauguration, the moment to bridge the chasms that divided us has come, and to liberate all of us from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other forms of discrimination. It is not correct that people must be discriminated on the basis of where they are coming from, on the basis of gender. It is not where you are coming from that must determine your destiny. It is the type of education and the environment in which you stay that must be the sole determinant of where you are going. With those words, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.